Hello everyone, my name is PauLInstaMyooin. We're back with another edition of Pokemon Y Shiny Hunting. This will be episode 604. We're going to be shiny hunting for another Tirtouga. So when I finally find the second shiny Tirtouga, I will be evolving it to Caracosta, and I'll be basing the nickname off of the Caracosta's shiny color. So it's pretty much a sapphire blue. That's what shiny Caracosta looks like. So I decided with the simple name Sapphire Costa. So that's pretty much what I'll be calling it whenever I find it. But anyways, the topic for this episode is by me. It is about Super Mario Bros. 3, and it's pretty much what was the hardest and/or most annoying level you ever gone through in that game, and did you defeat it? So I kind of said this in the previous episode, the level 2 of the World 8, but I don't know. I don't think that's the most annoying one. That wasn't a huge amount of like annoying. I want to say, hmm, I don't really know. It could just be any level in general. It doesn't have to be labeled as like a level number. It can be like an airship, a castle, a dungeon. It could be any of that. Um, so I don't know. There's so many of them, but the main ones that I had the most trouble with were like some of the ones in World 7, World 8. Um, hmm, that's a really tough one. I gotta think about that for a little while because yeah, there's so many of them, but the most annoying one, I think it was one of the dungeons. Now that I think about it, mm, yeah, you know what? The most annoying one, I want to say personally, would probably be the dungeon in the World 8, the one right before you do to get on the road that you see Bowser's Castle on. Um, So that one's just so confusing. You just gotta go through so many jumps, so much lava, so much like compact danger. It's like really tough, and you gotta worry about the time as well. If you take too much time, you run out of time, and that's just like a really tough one. It really is. So I would say that one for sure. I did beat it, of course, but it was a really tricky one. I would recommend. It even gives you in the level if you don't like take that much hits. You're eventually able to grind for the Tanuki power up. So pretty much that's such a good one just because of the whole floating ability where you keep pressing the A button, well whatever button it is for you that you set to jump. You just keep pressing that and then you'll float to wherever you want to float to. Like you'll slowly descend, but it's way better than just like not having it because then obviously you're gonna be really on point with your jumps. But the Tanuki Leaf it gives you an extra secure feeling because you can just slowly glide down. It's the same like distance to wherever you jump, but you can just keep spamming the jump button, whatever you have it set to, and pretty much just slowly descend to it. So it's really nice. So yeah, that in that dungeon is how I beat it pretty much. It was tough. I had to find out the exact door and all that, the exact path, but it was tough for sure. You had to be really careful. It's funny because I mean, the only time that I really died against those dungeon bosses, to where it's like it's a weird looking one. They brought it back in Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS. But anyways, I forget what it's called, but it's pretty much that thing in every single one of the dungeons at the end, where it just like it takes 3 hits to kill. Pretty much after every time you attack it, it turns into like a spiky ball form. But literally, you can just manipulate that so much. If you jump high enough, when it turns into a spiky thing, and when you're like falling down above it, you'll just hit it again, and it's so easy. You don't even get hit most of the time. But obviously, if you're like in a tight area, it's kind of hard to do that. But most likely, that boss is like so easy. I've beaten it many times. I made it all the way to the boss, and then I was like the lowest form you can be, which is small Mario, and I was easily still able to beat it. The only time, like I said, where I didn't was because I don't think it was that level. Maybe it was that level, but I'm not sure. It was one of the dungeons or something like that, to where there was like blocks in the way. Like you're able to like jump through them, but I just got stuck between them, and then the spike. It is a pretty big enemy as well, so it's kind of hard to like jump around it. So, but yeah, you pretty much want to do that because every time you hit that thing, it will go faster and faster. And even some of them, it actually flies, so that's like really tough. So, yeah, it's pretty much the trick to doing that in that game. You just gotta time your jumps right after it turns into spike form, and then just have it to where you're gonna land on it next when it like There's not a spike, of course, because obviously if you touch it while it's in spike form, you're gonna get damaged. But yeah, it's pretty much the my solution for like all those things. So yeah, definitely I'm curious to know what was your personal hardest level, and or annoying level in that game, and did you defeat it? Because obviously everyone else has like their own, different ones, but I feel like that's like one dungeon that's specifically really annoying in that game. Because if you don't know the path, you're just gonna get lost and run out of time anyway. If you don't just like get killed by whatever enemy there is, spikes, swamp, lava, any of that. So yeah, it's quite the complex dungeon for sure. But I'm curious to know what was yours. Like I said, it could be any of the levels in that game. So I'm curious to know. I'll be ending off episode 604.